going on, Rail fans? I'm Matt, and welcome back to the Yard Office. And joining me today, as always, I have my good buddy and co-host Jacob Petkowski. How are we doing today?
We're doing.
Okay.
That's it.
That's
We're
it.
doing.
That's it. Before we get started today, Happy New Year, everybody. This is actually the first episode of the Yard Office in 2021. So I hope you guys are all excited to see what this year brings for this podcast. I think it should be exciting. We have a lot of stuff we want to talk about today. A lot of cool, interesting stuff. A little bit of dated stuff you guys probably already heard about, but I thought they were worth talking about. But if you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button so you can always get notified when we upload new episodes. We try to do every week or so. Sometimes it doesn't work because there's nothing to really talk about, but we do our best here. But I want to just get things kicked off here and talk about the big thing that happened in the past few days, which is Western Maryland Scenic CNO 1309 is currently running under its own power, which is something that I don't think anybody ever thought would happen,
They
considering,
did it.
yeah,
They actually did it. I can't
no, it's,
believe they did it, but they actually did it.
I just,
The crazy madmen that they are.
that's, I don't, I mean, considering all the stuff that's happened behind that project, that's it. The fact that it actually happened is just, it's
I
nuts.
mean, well, to be honest, we knew it was going to happen. We didn't know when it was going to happen, but we knew it was going to happen. But I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
surprised it was as soon as it was. And honestly, I was looking at least another half a year before they'd fire it up.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I mean, we were talking to, I forget who you and me were talking to. I don't remember who, but I remember that we were talking about how much I've heard that there's like some stuff kind of wrong with it. Like there's still some problems, like where it's like,
They had to
s-
tweak it out, like, cause watching the videos, man, that thing, those bearings did not like being moved. They were
oh yeah.
screaming.
Well, not even that. It's like I don't think there should be that much steam coming out of the front.
Again, to be fair, it was wintertime. They're probably testing off valves and stuff, so it's probably why, but at the same time,
That
yes,
that's a lot. I mean, it was like you couldn't even see like the front end of it.
yes, this is true.
I don't
Probably,
know.
yeah, I guess it might have been testing valves
Very
or
well
something
could have
like
been,
that,
but
but it also very well could be leaks.
I think I know and this was the big thing that everybody else was talking about too, is that it's not going to be Western Maryland Scenic Cruise running 1309. It's going to be some other.
I think it's like Steam local, like Steam
It's another
Operations
organization.
Corp.
Yeah,
It's like Steam Operations Corp. I think
yeah,
they're called.
which is probably
But
a good thing.
they do stuff with 611, I believe.
Yeah, so I mean, I think considering like I said, all the stuff that's
No
happened.
track record.
Yeah, I think it's probably good that they're bringing in outside people to actually use them as crews for this. I mean, 1309 it's a cool engine for what it is. It's cool to see another like big steam locomotive back in operation.
Depressing to watch too.
Yeah,
Because you see 13.9, all projects like, look at our new toy. And then you see drone shots of 734 still proceeding to rot in the backfield, out
yeah,
the pasture. And it's really funny because they just updated their logo and it's like 1309 and 734 like steaming together. I'm like, it's false advertisement.
this is a
Because the other
scam.
one's running, the other one's just pile of garbage. Even when it was
Yeah,
running, it was a pile of garbage, which is really
yeah,
why 734 is an example. I'm really glad it wasn't Western Maryland restoring this engine because if they would have, oh boy, people would have died probably. I don't know.
yeah.
That's a bold claim, but someone would have got hurt.
I mean,
734 was littered with problems.
yeah,
Littered. Stapleton backwards. Some of the running gear would move up and down with the drivers as they go along. It
oh
was not
jeez.
good.
Yeah,
It was not good.
my thing is that anybody can restore a steam locomotive and anybody can operate a steam locomotive. That doesn't mean that they'll do a good job at it. I mean, look at
No,
what happened with 3985 on in the steam program. I mean, they basically ran that thing into the ground, did not really that good of maintenance on it, and now it basically needs a complete rebuild like 4014 did.
Just because they could doesn't mean they should.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, like that's the thing. Like just because you can do it doesn't necessarily mean that you should.
Which is basically what I understand is what happened with 734. It's like, at least in my mind, the way I think went down was they were all sitting together. It's like, man, we got this cool tourist rail. We got a couple Western Maryland diesels doing pretty good. Some guy goes, hey, we should get a steam engine. That'd be cool. Yeah, it would, except, we don't really got any equipment or really so much experience with steam engines. Huh. Yeah, you're right. It was a cool idea, though. Boss smashes down the door with a bottle in his hand. Hey, guys, guess what I just bought?
Uh,
Now it's right. Now, I will say this: what could happen, and this is just more of a theory I just thought of just now, would be nice is if 1309 does well, and after maybe a year or two, and they keep running her and she's doing well, I would like to see if that company would go and rebuild 734. That
what?
would probably be a lot more expensive just on the fact that they beat that thing to hell and back
Yeah.
more so. And I don't know how much it would cost or the amount of work it would need. Probably a lot. I can only imagine a lot of work, but I like to see them tackle seven. If they're going to do this and keep doing it, I'd like to see them tackle 734
I mean,
after
what
this.
what is
Not
seven?
Western Maryland.
It's a
These
it's a
guys.
consolidation. Okay, so
Yeah,
280.
it
Okay.
was a former Ellis and I 280 dressed up to look like a Western Maryland H9 because they're similar.
Well, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily out of the realm of possibility, and I say that because I feel like when you're dealing with a Mallet style locomotive compared to a conventional, there's a little less work involved.
But it's more or less it doesn't really matter. It's not more or less that. It's more or less the conditions she's in. She was in horrible shape when they ran her. She's probably in worse shape now. And the longer she sits out there, the worse it's going to get.
Well,
Like I said, they think they beat that thing. They beat
yeah,
it
but
down.
just because something's got wear and tear on it doesn't mean it can't be fixed.
I'm not saying it can't be fixed. The question is, are they willing to, depending on how much it is? Because it's going to be costly.
Well, I think. Well, I think
Actually,
with
when
that,
you're in the stream, when you put up the pictures, can we actually get a picture of 734,
yeah,
the state she's in right now?
yeah,
Because
I'll find one.
it is depressing. It is very depressing because
I think I saw a photo of it that somebody put up, on
it's
Facebook. I want to say.
literally out in weeded tracks with like all like the backlot equipment, and it's like it's depressing because this was our star of the show, and we're running it. We beat the hell out of it. Now we're letting it rot on pasture because we got a brand new toy to screw around with and probably break.
Well, I think it's like what you said earlier. See what happens with 1309, and if they get, if they get the traction that they want to, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I think it definitely can happen. Um, and I think, I mean, especially because of all the publicity that 1309 has gotten since they got it, you know, running under its own power.
Cool.
There's a I would be optimistic. I think I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Well, we gotta see what
Um,
the post-COVID world brings too. Maybe that
exactly.
might
That's the thing
change.
too.
I
Um,
I really like the fact that we have an East Coast articulated locomotive running again, though,
well, yeah, like
because for
yeah,
the
that's
longest
cool.
time it was only 1218. The 1218 stopped, and now we got 1309 back. So they have 1218 back, but hey, we can dream. You have our
Yeah.
former pipe dreams. That's fine.
Well,
I mean, that thing that is an interesting journey that thing took to where it is now. I know it's
1309.
still there's still some work they gotta do. Remember, I think it was when they were delivering it, that CSX, the train
Oh,
look,
hit the crossing gate.
yeah, that crossing gate got
Yeah,
knocked over and the
yeah.
train hit
I
it
remember. I
as it was
think I
on.
watch that video every now and again on YouTube just because I find it interesting.
And oh my, and when they were lowering the boiler onto the front section, the chains around because they put jacketing around the smoke box for more Western Maryland look, but they put it on before they wrapped the chains and hooks around to lower the engine onto the front section, and just they put those two massive dents in the side and then just patched them up.
Ah, good
Like
lord.
maybe you should have waited for that after you put it on. But what do I know?
No. I'm speaking purely hypothetical here. Because curiosity out of anything. What
Okay.
state is 1218 in, other than being a hollow tube?
A hollow tube. That's literally it. It is a hollow tube. There's they're like halfway on the teardown when they shut down the NS Steam program and they never put it back together, which is the reason why 611 was chosen, was because she was coming up from a rebuild and being put back together. So she was already almost done. But
So
1218 was in the middle of a breakdown. And then they, took it apart. And then it's
so
like, oh, we're not doing this anymore, guys.
so it's not entirely impossible for a restoration to be done on it.
It's not impossible. I don't see it happening anytime
Okay.
soon.
I'm just thinking
Because
because
I don't think the VMT can afford to run both 611 and 1218. As cool as much as I love to see 1218 back, it's not going to happen.
well,
I
I
don't
thought I
think.
thought 611 runs under its own thing. I didn't think VMT actually ran
Well,
that.
I'm pretty sure they endorse it. It's through. It's well, it stayed at VMT. It's from VMT. It's their logo engine. So like they have some saying what it does.
I mean, I feel like if they, I gotta say, there's definitely a lot of rail fans out there who would love to see 1218, like running again.
After this late NW kick we've been having, I really want to see it running again.
Because
But that's just
my thing is that I feel like they could definitely get some financial backing if they wanted to do it.
well, it's not even the financial backing. It's now the problem of where you're going to run it, because
That's
mainland
true.
excursions just don't happen anymore, and you can't necessarily bring something like 1218 to Strasbourg. It ain't gonna happen.
Hmm.
611 was a stretch. It worked. It was a stretch, but it was realistic because it was still a rigid frame locomotive. I mean, they moved 757 out of there, and all the other big equipment. So it was a realistic option. 1218, probably not going to happen,
Hmm.
especially not there.
Well, I don't know. I don't know because yeah, that's the thing too. Because yeah, mainline excursions minus UP don't really happen on the East Coast that much anymore.
But you
Last
see,
one,
UP gives a little sucky to FRA, and they get 11,000 miles of do whatever the hell you want.
well, it is also their trackage too.
Yeah, but it's more or less it's more or less you have to follow like FRA compliance with the steam engine, certain rules and stuff, even if it is your track. I
What
mean,
well, I'm
that's why
saying, but
FRA.
that I think they don't. You cut out the middleman by running on your own trackage because if you look at like
No, you don't.
well
The FRA regulates every class one. You don't cut the
no
middleman. That's why the
no
FRA
I'm
is
no I'm
class.
saying because I'm saying it's not like a separate organization trying to run on
Oh, right,
trackage that
yeah,
isn't theirs.
true.
It's
But
like
you still
yeah,
right.
it's
But
it's yeah.
it still comes down to the FRA, whether their laws and stuff. Again, that's why they came out when 2014 store said, "Okay, here's 11,000 miles to do whatever the hell you
Which is a
want."
lot.
Yeah, so we can do that system-wide tour, and it's like I don't think something like 1218, and especially with the way Norfolk Southern is now, definitely not going to happen.
Yeah, no,
Especially
well,
with their management's been lately, it's definitely not going to happen.
yeah, Norfolk Southern has not been doing the best in the past
CSX is
year and a half.
a more realistic option, and they have hosted like 3985 before in the past, so it's not an unrealistic choice. But again, that's just it's
I
not.
mean, I was talking to somebody else about this before earlier. I don't think it's entirely impossible for them to run 2716. I don't think it's impossible. I think it can be
What,
done
CSX?
on CSX, yeah.
I think they are eventually. I'm
Because
pretty sure they are. I mean, look how much they've been helping them, and look at how much. Look at the move.
which makes me think that they would be inclined to do that.
Yes, I mean, look at the move. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that like CSX logo they put on the tender when they were moving it to Ravenna.
I mean, not even that. I mean, CSX has given them they gave them the shops, I
They
want to
gave
say.
him They gave him a SW
Yeah.
switcher. They gave him
I,
all
I
this other equipment. They gave him like some kind of flat car with the right Buckeye trucks they're going to use on the tender.
yeah.
Like CSX really has been very steam friendly. Not even that. Like 576 down Nashville, they've been helping out with
Yeah,
too.
so like I wouldn't be surprised if one of those engines did a system-wide tour on CSX. I wouldn't be surprised. Because that if they did it right, that could be profitable.
But system wide tour, but I can see something like maybe the Santa Troy or just smaller local stuff. But system wide, I
That
don't know yet.
that would definitely turn a lot of heads if they did that.
But now we're getting off topic because we originally talked about 1309. Now we're going
Well,
into the
this
other
is
realm.
more of just about like, I mean, because we
Yeah.
were talking about articulates and stuff like that too when we got on that whole topic. But I think you can't talk about steam preservation. Oh, Mark's here. You
Oh,
can't
hey
talk about
everyone.
steam preservation without talking about, other,
Other things
yeah,
that
other
might possibly
possibilities.
related to it, right?
Yeah. Um,
Is that your guys' topic for today?
yeah.
Well, as
Steam
of right now,
preservation?
no, just right now we're talking about 1309.
Oh yeah, under Steam for the first time.
Yeah.
Crazy
That's cool.
bastards did it.
I'm gonna...
Oh,
Now the question is,
dropping in.
when it starts doing regular excursions on the Western Maryland Scenic, would you want to go see it?
I would, yeah.
I want to see how it does. I want to see how the crowds are. Kind of see what it would look like. And I wouldn't mind riding. I wouldn't mind going to Western Maryland Scenic at least once to ride it because it looks like a really nice ride. Like scenery wise, at least, it does look like a
And
fun
Mark's gone.
ride.
Okay.
Hey everyone,
Um,
there's your Mark cameo for the day, everybody. Everyone, check your bingo sheets to see if Mark popped in your Discord was on there.
but I think you wanna talk about the next thing we wanted to discuss here?
Tennessee
Wait,
Pass, right?
Yeah. So
Tennessee Pass.
yeah, so Rio Grande Pacific, which was a
I'd never
company,
even heard of that
I'd never
before
even
this
heard of this
point.
company either. They're going to lease the Tennessee Pass line from UP. Now,
I thought they're buying it.
according to trains, it
a
says
lease. Yeah,
lease.
it is a lease. Right, I see it now.
I mean, from what I've been told and from what I've understood, that this is like one of the most scenic parts of that region, I think. And this is
Colorado.
yeah, like this is like one of the more scenic ones, I think. And the line hasn't been used since 1997, and
There's a former DRGW line.
yeah, and well, and then UP shifted the remaining traffic to the Moffat Tunnel route, because of the lesser grades. Now, I don't. I mean, I've never even heard of Rio Grande Pacific until this article came out.
It is a holding company, so they probably don't have much. They said they want to do freight and passenger service, right? Is that what it says?
Let's
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, because that's what the subtitle says. Colorado Midland Pacific files with STB for authority to operate a line. Says it will assess both passenger and freight operation. So are we talking like theirs? We're talking like Amtrak? What are we talking?
I mean,
is it a short line? Is it like a commuter
I mean,
railroad?
I don't know if they could be doing this like a Strasbourg type thing where it's like they're
is it a tourist railroad? I have no idea.
it's not the worst area to do that. I mean, that region is pretty pretty good.
Question is, how much track they got to do? I mean, that's gonna be a lot of track work they probably do too. I mean, it's been dormant for at least what 23 years. You're gonna have to. I mean, that's what they're gonna do. Inspect it. It's probably gonna mean a lot of track work though.
Well, I mean,
Especially
yeah,
for a
the
region
line
like
hasn't
that.
been used since '97, so it's not definitely it's not going to be top notch. I mean, it is coming off of a Class 1 railroad, but there's definitely going to need to be probably some
Class 1 or not, sitting around for over 20 years is probably not good for it.
Oh yeah.
Whether or not the trains are running on it, no one's really.
I'm gonna do some quick research on this Rio Grande Pacific. I want to see if they.
Question is, why are they getting rid of it now? If they haven't used it since '97, why they haven't dumped it already?
Well, probably because who would want it?
Apparently, this company does.
I mean, the only people I can think of would be BNSF, but I don't know if that would even run anywhere close to their trackage. Is the thing.
I don't think they run. Yeah, I don't think they run close to cut Tennessee Pass.
Let's see. Well, after a quick Google of images, all I find is pictures of UP 1989 and Rio Grande locomotives.
Yeah. See.
Let's see.
How long is Tennessee Pass though? Yeah, that's a decent little route. I mean, that's not short. Milepost 179 and milepost 335. So we're looking at about maybe sub 100. 160.1 miles. It says exactly. That's a lot of trackage.
Yeah,
So my
you
question
can do
is,
a lot with
what are
that.
they? So what is this railroad going to do with it? I mean, obviously they're gonna do something with it, but like, and they said they're gonna assess it for freight and passenger service, but like, is it like a new forming short line? They're gonna run. That's I mean, that's a long short line. Is it a
We said
regional
100,
railroad or
130 miles?
163
163. I mean, that's not. I mean, Strasburg's what?
four?
4?
So this obviously isn't a tourist line. I don't think. I think this is an actual company, and I think this is might be like a regional kind of thing, or like a class two almost kind of deal. You know,
Yeah, 'cause I mean, uh, oh, Colorado Pacific says it would offer passenger service. So it could
Colorado
be
Pacific though. I've never even heard of Colorado Pacific
neither.
either.
I've never heard of any of these companies. So, um, in today's press release, Colorado Midland and Pacific President Robert Bach, I'm assuming that's how it said, said we look forward to engaging in the transportation planning work already underway to determine how the Tennessee Pass line might play a role. It's exciting to bring this additional option to the table. And this is coming from the Colorado Midland and Pacific. So there seems to, I don't know if Rio Grande Pacific might be a holding company because the way that they're wording this kind of seems like it would be.
There's a doing transpiring.
Yeah,
What's happening here?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Rio Grande Pacific could be like a GVT type style thing.
That's what I'm saying, like a regional.
Yeah, that sounds likely because you have, I mean, they're talking about the Colorado Pacific Railroad, the Colorado Midland and Pacific. So like I don't entirely know, but like that's kind of
All
what,
kinds of confusing things going on here that we can't fully comprehend with our tiny foamer brains.
no. I mean, yeah, I mean 163 miles, you can definitely do a lot with that. I mean, especially if you're gonna run passenger services, which I don't, because I don't see Amtrak doing that because what would Amtrak run through there if they haven't been already? And Amtrak
Well,
isn't, they're
they really
not.
can't. They can't. They really can't because, well, A, Union Pacific doesn't really run it, and well, B, um, it's not. Well, I feel like if they really wanted it, the government probably would have bought it off of them for Amtrak.
Yeah,
But
but it's like Amtrak keeps dwindling down on their long, you know,
yeah,
cross country, trips and
maybe
stuff
they're
like that.
maybe
So
they're not planning on passenger service. Maybe it's just they're saying it's to assess when they're talking about assessing the line. That way, if it's good for both, they could. Or like maybe like when you assess the line, it covers both when you're doing it. I'm not entirely for sure how it works.
yeah, but why specifically mention that then though? Like
That's what I'm saying. They might plan on it because they mentioned it. So
I don't.
it's
It's I feel like if they would, it would definitely be like more of a tourist thing. But
a commuter kind of thing, like an actual like active working passenger service that
maybe
goes from one
like
end to the
kind
path
of
to the other.
kind of like a bright line style thing or like
It's like a commuter line.
NCDOT.
It's kind of like a commuter. It'd be like a commuter service, but like not like more like a local passenger. Well, it would be commuter technically, but like it's not like your. It's like your conventional commuter service, where you have
Um.
multiple trains and stuff. It's like it's just one thing that
Uh.
there's one line and there's only a couple trains running on it. You know,
Yeah, because
it's
it
spaced out
said.
apart.
I mean, in the one thing I was looking at earlier. The railroad launched another bid late this year, including an offer to run passenger service between Pueblo and Minturn. Uh, at that time, Union Pacific responded to a letter from Colorado Pacific by saying it remained in active negotiations with Rio Grande Pacific. So,
So if they're leaving it dormant, why were they holding out so much not to get rid of it? Maybe because they didn't like the price of the deal they were getting, or what?
uh, possibly run it. Well, possibly running it as an alternative route if the Moffat Tunnel went down.
But if that was the case, they would have been doing that the past like 20 years.
Well, how many times has the Moffat Tunnel, gone out of service?
A lot.
Yeah, so I mean, it's all. I mean, I feel like, because that was the problem that NS had when that one tunnel went down in Massachusetts, where they had to reroute a lot of the container traffic and stuff like that we saw. Where it's always, in case a tunnel goes down, it's always good to have a secondary line. You can still run traffic, so your freight network doesn't just completely collapse in that region.
Maybe that's probably why they kept it around. But It doesn't seem like MoFat really goes down all that often, if at all.
I know, but it's also a huge tunnel.
How long is MoFat again?
It's pretty long, I believe.
Well, we know it's pretty long, but how long is it in terms of units of measurement, feet, miles, yards?
6.5 miles.
Yeah, it's a long tunnel.
Longest railroad tunnel in the Western Hemisphere. So it's longer than the Cascade Tunnel. And so, I mean, if that collapses or something like that in a certain region, I mean, you can't use the entirety of those 6.5 miles. So you got to find a way to reroute all that traffic through that area. So
There's
I mean,
another way around. I'm pretty sure there's another way around MoFat, though, isn't there? The Tennessee Pass. I'm pretty sure there is.
what's Colorado? Wouldn't surprise me. I'm not super knowledgeable on that area of the UP, but
Oh man, where's Mikey? He probably tell me more about that.
well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is where we need him.
God, where we need him most.
But yeah, I don't know. It's passenger services would be kind of cool because, and I think something like that has definitely become more and more popular in the recent years. I think
Yeah.
seeing like non-Amtrak running, passenger services, like what
Mhm.
Florida did with Brightline. I mean, that was a recent project in the last half decade.
Mhm.
Be cool to see what happens from this though. I think there's a interesting future for this, and I'd be interested in checking it out, down the road if this ever pans out.
I think it will. I mean, it's going well. There's no
Well,
guarantee in that, but
well, you never know. Yeah.
life works in mysterious ways.
Speaking
And
of that,
sometimes it be like that.
yeah. Speaking of that, let's move on to the next thing that we want to talk about today. Um, so if anybody wasn't aware, and this all happened on Christmas, I'm sure this spread like wildfire. Some rail fan basically drove up like 4 miles along the NS right of way in Altoona and just parked right smack dab in the middle of Horseshoe Curve on Christmas, and this was all caught on the virtual railfan camera. Now, here's my thing about this. I am fully aware that rail fans, especially in recent,
That's
do
true.
trespass and do a lot of things they probably shouldn't be. But this is a whole completely different level of that. Like,
That's desperation.
like, I've never heard of somebody ever doing this, and I
I
don't
mean,
think we ever will again.
well, technically they do, because I know people when they go to the park, they'll just climb over the fence and just go all on the other side.
Yeah,
But
but this
this
is
is going outside the box.
this
You're going outside a couple boxes
yeah, like
for this.
I think from my understanding was whoever this was went to the Brickyard crossing, I believe, which is like the closest crossing to the Horseshoe Curve. Took that basically drove up on the right of way for like 3-4 miles, got to the curve
In the snow,
in the
deep
middle
snow,
of in snow on Christmas in the
morning,
Allegheny
yeah.
Mountains. Um,
It
ba- just
went up there.
stopped, parked, took a couple of photos, drove westward along the curve, like upgrade, took some more photos, and then drove even farther down to like I believe it was like MG or something like that. That signal tower, like the next closest signal tower from the
Very
curve.
end,
Like
yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
MG, but I mean,
This
I
dude ever get caught? Does this dude ever
I
like?
don't think the person was ever identified.
I don't know the ending of the story. All I know is
I
what the
I never
initial
heard
what
anything
happened.
about this either, but there this is just beyond just
This is just
way
this
too
is
far. This is
this is
way too far.
this is
Like
just silly.
yeah,
That's
this
what it is.
like
It's ridiculous. It is just nuts beyond belief.
I like
You can't make it up. It's literally
this
you can't make this up. Some man, I don't know. First of all, NS and most Class 1 railroads are pretty much, I wouldn't say shut down, but they're really slow on Christmas Day. 'Cause a lot of them, the only trains really running on Christmas Day are the high priority intermodals
and Amtrak.
and Amtrak. So I don't know what this guy thought he was gonna go see.
Because it seems like this was sort of planned in a way. Like, this seems way too convenient for something like this to
Oh, why
happen.
did you go there if you knew that no train's gonna come? Because the way I think he thought about it was, oh, the curve is gonna be closed, so this is my best option. Okay, first of all, how sad and desperate did you be that you are willing to go to this lengths to get a picture with your iPhone in the middle of snow on Christmas morning
Yeah,
by yourself? How
this
sad and desperate do you have to be?
I can't imagine those photos even turned out that good because it was literally in the middle of a snowstorm in the
Well,
Allegheny Mountains.
it's not really that. It's more, what was the thought process here?
That's
What
what
was
I want
going
to get
on
to.
inside his head
Like,
that thought this was a good idea? Because the way I look at it was like, well, if I go around the park instead of just climbing over the stairs and breaking into the park, I technically will be trespassing on one piece of property instead of two. That's a pro gamer move right
okay,
there.
because I feel like if you I feel
100%.
like if you trespass on the park, I feel like it's a federal crime because it's a national historic site, right?
Yes.
Isn't that
I think you're right about
so
that.
wouldn't that be like I'm pretty sure that's federal property, so I think that would be like a federal crime if you do that. Which
Yeah, I
and I
believe
think
so.
the you know legal repercussions or something like that are far greater than trespassing
So
on.
maybe he was smart enough to know the fact that it could be a federal crime if he does it, so he might as well take the risky route of driving up 4 miles of NS right of way, because that seems like a less stupid idea.
I just I okay, here's the one thing, to whoever who's watching this episode, this is the one thing I want you guys to take away from this.
Don't do it. That's
Never,
one.
ever, ever, ever try to do this or attempt to do this. This is
Now, there are videos of guys who actually did break in to Horseshoe Curve on Christmas Day to Railfan. Like, they climb over like the fence and just climb up the stairs, and there they are. Also, if this guy's such a big Railfan, does he not know this camera exists?
that's the other thing too. Like, if you're that knowledgeable to know that probably nothing's running on Christmas, I feel like you're knowledgeable enough to know that that camera's there.
I don't think running. I think his more idea was, well, no one's gonna be at the park, so no one will be able to see me do it. I think that was also the thought process too.
Yeah,
I don't think he was realizing that there weren't gonna be any trains that day. How did he go? I mean, again, there's not a lot of trains, but I still like that there was some intermodal or something running that day. How did no one notice it? How no NS train like pass him within the time? The amount of sheer luck of that.
yeah. Like I don't know because I don't know how. I mean, I know how I mean, they shut down everything in Buffalo when yeah. I mean, CSX and NS both do it. So I mean, I don't know how the operations are around Altoona and all that. I mean, I can't
It's
imagine.
just,
I can't imagine they would park trains on the grades because
oh, the length to go.
that just seems ridiculous. But this is just
It's stupid.
this
That's
is
what it is.
ridiculous. This is like you like
No, it's
never
plain.
try to do this. Like this is
It is bluntly stupid.
yeah
It's silly. It is, but most of all, it is just stupid.
yeah like
What I
this.
love, someone said like, "Oh, he might be a surveyor." It's like, well, I'm
Jake, you
already
were the one who was saying that.
no. I was saying it in the sense that someone was telling me he's a surveyor, and I'm thinking, no, it can't be because A, where's the safety equipment? B, cars unmarked. C, surveyors have crews. It's more than one guy. And D, that was not surveying equipment.
No, because
You know
I mean,
what?
because
I've seen
here's the
surveying
thing,
equipment a lot. That is not surveying
and I mean,
equipment.
I watched over the virtual railfan video from that just because I was curious too. And I mean, you could tell it was like a tripod with a phone mount on it, and the guy was like taking the phone in and out of the holder on the top of the tripod, and I'm just like, but you're right though. The guy had no safety equipment on. It wasn't like a high railer or anything like that, or any like vehicle that had like safety equipment on it. It I don't even wanna know what could have happened if there were if trains were still in operation during that time and
I
somebody
wonder if
came.
this. I wonder if this guy knows.
I
I wonder if he knows that people know he did it. I want to know if he's seen the pictures and the video of him doing it.
I mean, when he whoever did this whoever this was did that, it spread like a wildfire on Facebook. And I mean,
I mean,
even
yeah, because it's just sort of such an unheard of thing.
well, because I think the majority of the railfan population is smart enough to know to never even try to attempt to do this because how incredibly stupid this is.
You gotta do what you gotta do to get the shot, man. Even if it's on your iPhone in the middle of winter on Christmas morning. Where's your family, dude?
Yeah, like
It's a little it's a little depressing on the fact that he's doing this by himself on Christmas morning. So it's a little depressing at the same time out of all this. It really is.
yeah,
It's sad.
I remember when I saw this, I was at a loss for words. I was like, there is no possible way that somebody could be that bold to even try to do something like that. Like,
Bold and brash, man. He's bold and brash.
like trying to get into trying to get into like a secret spot along a right of way or trying to get into a rail yard is one thing. This is
Driving up 3 or 4 miles NS main line on a horseshoe curve is a completely just
this is so
other.
beyond that.
It
This is
is.
so
It is.
beyond
It
that.
is. It is literally. It's not even in another world. It's in our galaxy. It's in another freaking universe beyond stupid.
Yeah, that's my god. I can't even man,
But it's fun. It's entertaining.
no,
At least it's good
it is.
entertainment.
It is. It's entertaining for
This
the
is.
people who aren't involved in it,
I think that was
but
probably the most entertaining piece of railfan news we got last year. Out of
yeah.
everything that happened, 2016 coming back, seeing veteran heritage units, veterans unit, all that jazz. That was probably the best. I'm putting your hands down. That was the coolest. That was the funniest thing. That was the most exciting piece of like news
Well,
for the
it's
trade
it's
wise
the
that we
funniest
got.
for sure. Um, yeah, well, yeah, 'cause I mean, probably the closest thing to that would probably be the CN veterans units, with the heritage unit and the veterans unit. Um, well, 2816 running was kind of cool too.
Yeah,
Um,
but is it as cool as watching the Lone Ranger here
the Lone
drive for
Ranger.
3 to 4 miles in the snow of NS Mainline on a horseshoe curve on Christmas Day?
Yeah, because I think 'cause I pulled it up on a map just because I was like, all right, I want to see how somebody did this. I think it's like you go from like the Brickyard Crossing, which is the closest crossing to the Horseshoe Curve, drive up along the main line, go around Horseshoe Curve, up the grade still, and then there's like I think you can get back on the roads at like MG Tower. I think that's the tower.
I wonder if Horseshoe Curve Park actually knows this happened.
I've how can they not?
I assume someone told them. I really hope so.
I gotta imagine like it's just I'm so just at a loss at this whole event. Like I'm just
Words, man, use your words.
yeah, I'm Jake, we all know I'm not good with words. Um let's
I
see.
I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone lost a little bit of brain cells that Christmas morning.
Yeah, probably.
I mean,
Probably.
it's good. It's good to see, but also good to give. And sometimes you can bring.
I got Google Earth opened up right now. I'm trying to see. So it looks like well that might be MG Tower right there, I think. Either that's it. That's okay, well no, because no, that's gotta be it. So it looks like there's a trail that kind of runs along like from MG Tower back to the road. But I mean it's a winding trail to find it. And that puts you kind of back near US 22, it looks like. But I mean it's that's just
Oh, that's the fact he did. We got away with it. Though. I know. I wonder if he ever did get caught. I have no idea. Or maybe like
I
they
don't
checked the
know.
cam and they found out who it was. I have no clue.
I'm just curious. So it's like from there to like the here. I'm just trying to see uh what the like the mileage is here. I want to just see. Because I just like so from Brickyard Crossing to the curve, it's almost like 4.8 miles. And then you go from that's that I mean, you gotta have to drive close to like 7-8 miles. Well, no, probably more like 6, I would say. Probably more like 6-7 miles to do that. And I mean, those are some pretty treacherous conditions that you're working under too. Like uh people amaze me every single day with some of the stuff that they do.
It's just, yeah.
I just I
Do what you gotta do to get the shot, man.
Yeah, but there's at what point do we draw the line though? Like where do we draw the line where it's just like
Well, whatever line we draw, he's already miles past it.
yeah. Yeah, I
Oh,
can't
I don't think the line matters because I don't think he would have cared.
I can't see anybody condoning this or like acting like this is okay because I feel like this is by no means okay to do at all. And if you're condoning this, you really shouldn't be because this is not an okay thing to do. Um, I just, it's,
So, things up here so we can go on to the next subject. I think
yeah,
we've been ramping on this really too long. Don't do it.
yeah,
Just don't.
just don't do it.
Just don't.
Well, I think the last thing we wanted to talk about today, we'll wrap this up. We got time to talk about this one. Um, is the support for essential workers unit that Montana Railing did. Now,
Yeah.
this is something that is I really didn't see any I didn't really see any railroad
Into
company
it.
doing this, but it's a cool idea. It's a really cool
How about
idea.
Rao coming in clutch lately with these support units, man? They really been knocking them out of the park. We got 2, man, but they really
Yeah.
just been.
I mean, like the designs they're similar to an extent, but they look really really good. Like
And
they
as
did
a pair, they probably look really good together.
and I think I think they are running them around as a pair, I believe. At least I saw or I think I saw a photo of them in the shops, like end to end. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I really give Montana Railing props for this because no other railroad company decided to do this, and they really did a fantastic job with these. This and the
Oh, yeah.
veterans unit.
I like the like just the red like that red ribbon like strip on the front.
Oh yeah,
And how it really like kind of separates itself from their veterans unit. And I like the way how they did the American flag. They still did it, but they did it
Oh, yeah.
differently. I like how like the stars faded into the back and they still kept the stars on the front, so like it kind of unifies the 2 units together. They still did what I didn't like was with that white lettering on the front and had
oh
the
yeah. I remember you talking about that. Yeah,
They still did that. I don't know why they did it again. Like, don't if you're gonna put it on there, fine, but like, don't do it when there's like a star right there because then he just bleeds right into it. Oh, I don't get that. I don't know what the thought process behind that part was.
yeah. I mean, I think you're. I mean, I'm with you on the design of it because it's similar enough where were that you can see, where you can tell like, they're somewhat identical, but the essential workers one is different enough so that it's its own unit.
I like the veterans one more because I like the American flag on it, but this is nice. This is still really nice.
This is really cool. It's a really cool idea that would be neat if other railroads did this as well. I think to
I like
kind of
I like
show
just
some
the big
support.
billboard lettering on the side saying thank you to all essential workers.
Oh yeah.
And being an essential worker, it's like that's just really cool that they're
Yeah,
doing something
it's
like
it's cool
that,
to
acknowledging
yes,
that.
yeah,
Like,
and
I wanna
yeah.
I get a model of that. I would. I do it just to, like, put it in a little case because, like, "Hey, I worked through the pandemic, and this was a thank you." So, like, yeah, I get one of
I
those.
think it wouldn't be if you could get decals for it, it probably wouldn't be impossible to do. I mean, you could probably get an undecorated.
I just wait for them to do it themselves. I mean, they're gonna. I think they will. I don't see why
Uh,
they wouldn't.
maybe. Yeah, well, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It probably won't be impossible. I don't know
because if
what.
they're because it just came out the MRL veterans units. It's like if they're gonna do them, man, they're gonna do them both at the same time.
Yeah, because I think. Well, I know UP announced not UP. Athern announced the Genesis
Aces.
3.0, 2.0, or something like that. But like, I don't know if those were. I don't know if these came out too late. Um, but
Oh, look at
still,
them. They won't be in this run. They'll probably be in the next run or two.
yeah. But like, that would be really really cool though to have a model of. I think. I don't. Seeing, I mean, special painted units. I think in the past year or so have really come out of the woodwork, especially with BNSF and CN. Like, I mean, with
Don't
between
forget
those.
CP because CPs came out last year too. I think.
Yeah, well, yeah, because we actually talked about those in the very
No, maybe
first.
they came out 28.
No, no, we talked about them in the first episode of the Art Office at the end of 2019.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we talked with it because that was a part of the very first episode, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, between CP, CN, and BNSF, I mean, there's seeing more special units like that has definitely become, it's become a bigger thing, and now we're just waiting on CSX to actually do it if they do.
Well, they did those three special. They did the three special units, but those don't even go anywhere anymore.
No, they've been sitting in Waycross since they did the whole system tour of them. And the thing is, if CSX did heritage units, they could do some really cool ones too. Like they have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
cool roads that they could do them for, especially
Come on,
Atlantic.
CN. I'm CSX. You're lacking again.
I mean, what'd be cool? An Atlantic Coastline ES44. That would be cool.
In the purple, yeah.
Yeah, that would look really, really good. But I don't know. I like seeing railroads acknowledge, like it's like how do I word this? How do I word this? It's I think it's cool to see them acknowledging, like other people, I think, or it's like they're honoring, veterans and then like the essential workers who are basically keeping the world
Look,
running during this pandemic.
I wasn't expecting the essential workers one, so that was really kind of cool.
Neither was I,
Like
especially
that really
especially
came
out of
out of left field.
especially out of MRL. I mean, they would
Yeah, of
be
all
the last
roads.
railroad I think to actually do it, but
I say they wouldn't. Just they're not really known for doing that. They're not a class one. They're not really
yeah, I
known
figured
for
they
doing
would
it. So the
probably
fact they
be.
came out with a veterans unit and this like months apart from each other is
Oh yeah,
wow,
it's
impressive.
it's awesome. It really is. Um, anything else to add?
It's cool.
Yeah, yeah, it
Now
really is.
I don't see MRL doing any more special units though. At least
Well,
because I don't know what they could do.
first
And that's the new
responders unit.
maybe. Yeah, I can see first responders. Maybe I don't see them doing a heritage. I don't think they have any really
No, because I
heritage
don't. I don't think they. Well,
because they're I think they operate an XPN trackage, right?
so maybe a BN painted ace.
No, because that's infringing a BNSF at that point.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, that's probably why they can't then, because that's all BNSF's trademarks.
Yeah, so I don't know what else they could do in terms of special units. Like, yeah, maybe a first
'Cause
responders, but
I
we'll
feel
see.
like that's usually the next logical step because I mean, that's what that's what NS did. That's what CSX did.
What do you think would
Um,
have happened already though if this was the next logical step? Because technically, this isn't even in the step. This is a brand new step.
yeah, that's
So
true. Wouldn't surprise if they did another unit. I think that's what they would do. Whether or not they actually do, that's a whole nother thing, and that's
no, I agree.
yeah,
I
that's a
agree with that.
debate for another time. Um, but yeah, I think that's all we really got to talk about today. This is kind of a short episode, but that's okay. But
It's happened lately, but a good couple of stuff we could at least cover. in
Yeah.
episodes of weather stuff.
Yeah, I think
So
that's I mean, the one thing I think we try to do in this series is try to talk about a lot of, current event stuff, a lot of things that are happening in both the industry and the railfan community. We try to cover a lot of, up-to-date news so we can bring it forward to you guys. That's why I really wanted to do the CN heritage units because that was, really really neat information that was coming out. And the downside to that is that you can only talk about stuff if stuff is happening. So it's sometimes it's hard for us to come up with topics um if nothing is really happening. And that's what's kind of been good in the past, few weeks where there's been a lot of cool stuff happening. But
yeah.
I mean,
W-
what were we gonna say, Jack?
Well, we do have those filler episodes, like we did like the tier list and all that. We'll do
Yeah.
occasionally if
Yeah,
we're with
yeah,
the
and
following content,
we
but
we will do more of those in the future because I know a lot of you guys really really liked the Battle of the Streamliners episodes that we did. We'll definitely do more stuff like that in the future because I think it's cool to get a little bit of a mix of historical railroad stuff in there because I think you can't really talk about this industry as a whole without
bring up the
identifying
past.
identifying where it came from versus where it is now, and I think it's important to acknowledge that.
Yeah, where it
Um,
came from, where'd it go, where'd it come from, kind of Joe. All that.
no, but this I mean 2021, I think we do have some interesting stuff planned for the future. This series as a whole I think has a very bright future on this channel. I really like making these episodes for you guys. Jake makes us a lot of fun too, and I wouldn't be able to do this without him. Um
Yeah.
but I think we try to, bring you guys as much information as we can. So if we don't come out with an episode every
Hey,
week,
suggest topics.
yeah,
You know,
yeah. I mean, if
suggest
if
topics.
if we don't have stuff to talk about every week, we might the episode might be delayed by a little bit. So but we do try to do this every week if we possibly can. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions, any new things that are happening that you guys want us to cover, like any local stuff that's happening for you guys, because I know we have a lot of people who watch all over the country. If there's any local stuff that's happening around you guys, let us know. We can gladly talk about it because you know there's some small scale stuff that doesn't get a lot of publicity that you guys might be seeing. So it's
Yes.
um. But I think that's actually gonna wrap it up for today. Um,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to thank Jake for joining me as always. If you guys want to buy stuff from Jake's shop, he actually just came out with a new piece of artwork. I'll throw it up on the screen here so you guys can
It's
see
not in the
it.
shop yet, but I'll put it up shortly.
Yeah, it's as you can see there, we have it's a Norfolk and Western fall theme with a Y class and an A class running alongside each other. So if you guys want to buy stuff with this on it, Jake will throw it up on his shop, and you guys can visit that shop in the description down below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more. We're going to be doing more episodes of this in the future. Might have some cool episodes planned, so you guys are going to want to stick around. Um, but yeah, I think that's going to do it for us today. I am Adam, and I'll see you guys all next time.
Ciao.